perverts of YouTube and Odyssey unite. It's movies like this that I love Japan, starring one of my favorite Japanese actresses, and I'm comfortable calling her that. This movie is exactly what you'd expect. Robots, sex, crazy special effects, wooden acting, and an insane plot. A big thanks needs to go out to the person who recommended this one to me. Hi, I'm the Artie Dans, and let's check out this Asami and Maria Ozawa collaboration of Erotibot. On her 18th birthday, Tameo is gifted a present by her father, a personal butler droid called Tsukekyo. He has dreams of being the top butler and has a crush on her. But Lady Tsukio, who is blood related to Tameo, and her servant Miss Ninja plan to kill her in order to secure the Nekogami estate of their grandfather before everything is left to Tameo. Tameo seems to be your typical 18-year-old, although rather sheltered, not even allowed to eat a cup ramen from a 7-Eleven. She's exploring her sexuality, looking at erotic websites, and well, her butler droid seems to have taken her interest, if you know what I mean. Now, I'm not complaining, but one of Tsukekyo's jobs seems to be bathing Tameo. Imagine being that rich that you don't even need to bathe yourself. Even more hilarious is when she demands he joins her in the bathtub. The droid is apparently anatomically correct. The full cast of droids are hilarious. Known to each other as their hierarchical names of first, second, and third, with the first being a top spec and lead butler, second is the brawn, and third is our luckless Tsukekyo. The crazy sex begins when the first butler decides one night to implement his built-in program of sex methods now that Tameo has reached age, called bed service, initiating his Lost Virgin sex course, which leads to a rather, romantic and hilarious scene between them as he seduces her but keeps running into an error with his programming as she does the opposite of what his coding is expecting. While not completely strange by normal Japanese sex movie standards, it's still strange to see a young virgin girl giving pleasure to a robot who keeps twitching his head while giving her detailed instructions of what she needs to do next. Fans of Asami and Maria Ozawa, who were probably both slightly more qualified to act in a sex scene due to their age, rather than the young actress Mahiro Aine, will be disappointed as they go missing for a fair chunk of the first half of the movie as Tameo and the first butler get it on. But when they do make a reappearance, it's as a duo of sexy sword-wielding assassins as they put their plan of killing Tameo and stealing Tsukekyo, the third butler, to use as Lady Tsukio's sex toy, into action. In the end, she has to settle for the first butler, taking him for a test ride while Asami watches on, partly in disgust and partly thinking, when is it my turn to ride the droid? Which leads to a weird threesome scene where the girl starts singing about good-looking men. Asami, call me. I do love how Tameo's luxury mansion has this industrial type ceiling with exposed pipes. It's almost like they shot this in a closed warehouse studio. The low budget vibes of the movie continue with some rather awkward sound mixing, where voices completely disappear from the right channel and the music mixing between scenes has an inconsistent volume level applied. Although the heavy rock music isn't too bad. I do admit, while cheapish looking, the costumes of the droids are quite cool. Tsukekyo wears a weird and highly restrictive thick white rubber mask where human eyes and skin are still visible, and all the droids have cute metallic looking earmuffs and chokers. The actors could do a slightly better job at acting like robots, but a few post-production sound effects and dodgy lightning effects helps sell the idea they are robots to the audience. And speaking of acting, while Asami isn't too bad, her friend and fellow ex-JAV star Maria Ozawa isn't the best. But hey, she's trying, and that's all we could ever ask for. There's nothing wrong with watching silly low-budget schlocky movies like this, as long as you know why you're watching it. Of course, I was watching it for research purposes and because I like Asami. You might be watching it for the idea of being a sex robot for a rich 18-year-old girl. Whatever floats your boat. I don't judge. However, this movie gets a thumbs down because it's just a little too silly. I mean, talking portrait, but there is some fun to be had here if you're more than willing to forgive its numerous shortcomings. Also, there's not enough Asami. If you've seen this, what did you think? Thank you for watching this review. Please don't forget to press the like button and consider subscribing to support my channel.